Hello, my sisters. It's so good to see you all. We haven't been together in a little while, and we have some new faces, and I'm happy to be here. Ashley is kind of like here, center stage a bit, just sort of holding space in terms of we're going to be chatting about some really fun stuff like human design and maybe a little manifestation. We also just went through a crazy Sagittarius full moon. Sorry, someone said that once and it stuck. It was super cute. Sagittarius. It sounds
I like that.
Well, let's just kick it off there. How was that for everybody? Because it was a gorgeous rosy pink kind of
strawberry moon.
Yes, very, very magical. Anyone have any extra special celestial experiences?
Complete takedown, laying on the couch all day. I had one of those. Yeah. Where I had to claw my way out and go take a walk at night. Yeah. But that was, yeah, that's okay. But I did have a really, really powerful dream.
Ooh.
I voice noted that to you, Sage. I dreamt, everyone, let's just make this assumption. Our ego and our 3D avatar protects what we see in our dreams so that we can perceive it and not be overwhelmed. Okay. So I've been in, I don't know why, it's a public restroom. I don't know why, but I've been in this before in the astral. And yeah, I know. I spent a lot of time in public restrooms in the astral. But this was a trip. I walked in, I could see myself in the mirror. Now think about it. How often do you see yourself in the mirror in a dream or in the astral?
Awesome and freaky. Yes.
Okay. So I see myself in the mirror. I know that I'm supposed to push this button on what looks like a hand dryer. Okay. Like an automatic hand dryer. But when I do, I see this blue light come out and I felt this energy come out and I start getting this upgrade. I look at my face and I have lines kind of in different, like very specific and very balanced lines that are, I would say like a bright electronic aqua color, like above my eyebrows and different spots on my face. And then something or someone, which I kind of feel was my own voice, like my higher self, told me to step back so I could see my whole body. And then I got a really intense upgrade. And then I woke up and I was like, okay, but I felt so much better. Like completely different. Like it totally rebooted me. Because the day before I was literally on the couch until I forced myself to take a walk. So something major happened.
You have hella Sagittarius energy, right? Mm-hmm. Your chart is like lit. So this was probably, I think it was about conjunct my Uranus for me. But I know your chart, if I were to look at the degree, I wonder what it was like all up on. Because that is, I mean, yours trumps my full moon. I don't got anything as cosmic as that. That is epic. Dream time bit.
Yeah, that was interesting. Okay, sorry.
How did you feel the next day?
How did I feel the next day?
The next day, yeah. What was it? If you could describe it a little bit more, like.
Well, okay, so literally the day before, I almost thought like maybe I was coming down with something because I just couldn't. I was at my farm and I normally do a lot of projects and editing and everything, and all I could do was lay there and watch stuff I downloaded until I got myself on a walk at night when I felt way better. Then I had that dream that night, and when I woke up and I started going through the motions of doing things, I immediately, like, my self-awareness is better now, and so I was like, wait, that's gone. Like whatever that was is gone. And then I started to like really lock into that dream. And if you can really remember something and have like not only full recall, but it stays with you. Like today I could tell you exactly what I could have told you that morning. That's an astral dream. Like that's a remembrance in the astral. And I felt completely different. Like I think my body needed to just not do anything the day before to get ready for whatever was coming, which it's hard as a human to let things happen to you, even though they're good, because when you give up and you stay in flow and you take yourself out of controlling things, like it's scary, and so I think that's why that happens to us when it's just like, nope, you're going down. Like, let me just do this for you. Let me take all of your energy away from you and you can't do anything because like, just let it happen. Just let it happen. So I think that's what I went through, but it was amazing the next day.
Dang. I just felt I happened to be on a UFO tour that night, and there was a lot of activity. We had to power up, but just in general, there was just this if eerie were like in a positive connotation is the way that it felt, like there was just this absolute paradigm shifting sort of aura to the night. I just felt like things are about to never be the same again. And I know Sagittarius connects to a lot of our philosophy and really the way that we see the world and our internal mottos, our experiences, truth, etc. Represents a lot of amazing, powerful stuff. So I don't know. Was that? I see some heads nodding. Yes. Did you guys kind of feel it too? Like there was just something very extra magnificent about it.
Yeah, I can't explain it, but there was a major shift.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we're both in Sedona too. We're like shifting every day, but that was like an extra special.
Yep.
It had like an exclamation point to it. Yeah. Very cool. Well, so do we want to talk a little bit of human design here now?
Mm-hmm.
We were kind of mentioning before the show that the majority of people are generators. We're the get shit done. But I know Ashley was kind enough to sort of tune into our charts a bit, and I don't know if anything stands out just from that alone, but Ashley, I'm going to toss it to you for anything that's on your heart regarding what you found, what you saw, human design in general.
Well, what do you guys want to know? Because there's a lot to human design, but we have a limited time to talk about it. So is there anything specific that you guys want to know?
Burning question.
I have one.
Yes.
Okay, so with generators, or I'm a manifesting generator, how do you think that we can continue to stay energized without having burnout? Since we're just go, 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 go.
Getting good sleep would be a good one. Usually it's you want to burn out your sacral and you want to go, go, go until you're tired. So you get the good sleep. And that way, that's what regenerates your sacral. So I would say sleep is like the number one thing, is you want to burn out your sacral so you're tired enough to get good sleep. And if you're struggling with sleep, it's probably because you're not doing enough during the day. You're not burning out that sacral.
And does that mean intellectually or like literally physically do manifesting generators need to exert energy? I know that shows up a bit in astrology charts. Is there just a general rule of thumb with that?
I would say physically. Like working out is a great thing for generators. Like working out, jogging, walking, sports, anything physical, dancing. I love dancing, so that's a great one.
It feeds me. It actually, I could keep going. It feeds me. So it's
But yeah, I'd say the number one thing is sleep to get your sacral re-energized.
And the same would be for manifesting generators?
Yeah, because it's still a generator type energy.
Okay.
Okay, so since I'm thinking about our signs here, Ashley, you, me, and Sage are Aquarians, and Shauna's a Libra, and then Amber is a Pisces. Sorry, Amber, you're always overwhelmed by us.
Libra rising, so
okay,
we're gonna give it to her a little bit. There's air in there.
So, how does human design? Okay, so like it with astrology, there's air, earth, water, fire. Is there a generator air combo, a generator water combo?
I have heard that, but we haven't gone over that in quantum human design.
Okay.
But someone has brought that up to me because they're a fire generator or a fire manifesting generator. And I had no idea what she was talking about because I studied quantum human design, not traditional human design.
Okay.
And so she turns it more into like a life coaching type thing. It's with Karen Curry Parker. And she just goes about it a little bit differently than traditional human design. So she doesn't go over the elements, but I would love to learn one day.
So in this square, all of us are generators?
Yes. But then because a manifesting generator is still primarily a generator first.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, because I was going to say, maybe you could go over the different, I don't remember how many there are in human design, but if you wanted to give a brief synopsis of each theme, but it's funny, we can't even use any of us in here because we're almost all the same. So, but if you want to go down, what's your favorite? Okay. What's your first? Okay. How about this, Ashley? You have a something coming up, right? Like a conference or a class or something?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I'm going to be speaking at the Sedona 5D conference here at the end of June 28th and 29th.
Cool. Okay. Right on. Do you want to talk about anything that's going to lead to that, or how you got into this, or what your favorite part of human design is? Like what attracted you to it?
I would love to know that too.
Well, it's kind of funny, what brought me to human design was, without even knowing it, I was following my human design. I go on a hike, my neck hurt, and the man, Robert, who plays the flute at Boynton Canyon, suggested that I go see this chiropractor. So he's a chiropractor acupuncturist. And in my first appointment, he brought up human design, and I was hooked. Something about it just captured me and drew me in. And I wanted to learn more. So I was trying to sign up for one of the traditional human design courses, and my computer kept glitching, kept freezing. I couldn't sign up for it. So then that afternoon, I had another appointment the day that I was trying to sign up for it. And at that appointment, he's like, oh, you need to do Quantum Human Design by Karen Curry Parker. So I go and do that. And I'm so glad that I did, because it's a more elevated version of human design. And it speaks to more of the awakened person, versus the old traditional language is designed to shock people into the awareness of the not self, and that they've been conditioned. And it's the language is for the conditioned person.
Okay.
Who hasn't
I get
quite
that.
done the work. So
Too
So
basic.
quantum takes it one step further. It's really, and I've noticed that about human design in general, is there is an evolutionary process to it. And I know we chatted about this briefly, is astrology is the same way. I mean, they're called evolutionary astrologers now because we're evolving, and so do these systems and our perspectives on them, etc. So it seems like human design is very similar. And I know you've studied with, she's sort of like the, I don't know, she's got the best name in the business. Karen Curry Parker is so cute, but she's sort of the godmother of quantum human design, right? Sort of taking this to the next level.
yeah, she studied closely with Ra Uruhu. They would go together to all the conferences, and she worked closely with him here in Sedona. And so he died before he was able to write the awakened version, which was always the plan. So she ended up continuing that work. And she was one of the first life coaches in the world. So she brings a lot of that into the human design. And so it's a lot of helping people heal their self-worth and getting them to be really their true authentic selves, where traditional human design is a bit more rigid. It makes you think that you don't have choice over how your chart is expressed, but you have a lot of choice. But the knowledge of your chart helps you have choice.
Fascinating. I know astrology is connected to this, and I couldn't really follow down the whole human design rabbit hole. There's so much to learn. So I honor you for like really stepping into this work, because it lost me at gates and numbers and keys. I'm not really sure actually. But I mean, what I briefly knew about it is that it has to do with really like how our auric field is essentially made up to a certain degree. It's like there are these neutrinos that are coming from the sun, and when we're born, these neutrinos come together and they basically build out our auric energy. So that's kind of on like an energetic level, the way I could explain it, if I'm understanding it correctly.
Okay.
Yeah, pretty much.
Do you know the foundation of human design and how? Okay, so I'm an Aquarius because I was born in February. Why am I a generator?
It's the placements of the planets around the chart. They light up the 64 hexagrams. And so
Okay.
depending on which hexagrams are lit up by those planets, that basically makes up your chart. And your open centers and your defined centers. So the planets light up the gates, and at each end of a channel is the gates. And so when two gates are lit up, then that channel is defined. Both of the centers on either side of that channel are defined as well.
I know we're getting into, we chatted about this very briefly, but we're getting into 2027. There's supposed to be a shift with human design. So we're actually moving into the next evolutionary state of human design. I find that most intriguing because we have shifted. We already know these are conversations we weren't having before. Humanity has shifted. And so now to see the sort of scientific part, if we're going to call human design that, it's syncing up with that, or it's proving that to some degree.
It's been happening.
Yes.
So we've been moving from from splenic to the emotional solar plexus. And that's basically moving from being like fear-based responses and those conditioned responses to being more emotional and aligned with our authentic selves and our true selves. So we're moving out of that fear-based responses to things.
Thank God. I've been praying for that.
Yeah, Amber, speak on that. Yeah, it's fascinating how so many details come into play to make us who we are, but it's up to us to unlock that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so there's 9 planets in the sky. You're born in a certain month, so you have your main theme, and then you have all these other influences by the planets, and now you're talking about the gates and all these other parts that unlock it. I think the more that we grow, I don't want to use the word ascension anymore, but the more that we become more self-aware and awaken, those parts that are just waiting for us to acknowledge are there. It's almost like every step, every time you unlock, every time you work through a trauma, every time you step into your power, your field expands, like you were talking about the auric field. But until then, it's all just kind of waiting in the backstage, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And that's cool.
So will we see an evolution in the graph then? Like when we go to look at human design graphs and charts, do you think that they will, or has Karen talked at all about there being like a new center and gates, access points to each other?
No, the chart is going to remain looking the same. We're just moving from, having our spleen, have more control over our responses to having our emotional solar plexus and being able to move into that and making better decisions based on how we really feel.
Right.
Intuition.
Yeah, intuition is going to have a big part to play. So we're going to see a lot more people being more intuitive.
Honoring what we feel. That was a joy and a funny part about moving to Sedona, is everyone was very much like, I'm not really feeling like, it's not really in the flow, and I just want to honor how I'm feeling. And it's like funny because we're so used to, I came from LA, it's like we don't have time for your feelings, unless it's like in the script and like that's what we're doing. We don't have time for that. You go and you do, and that's it. So I was like, it took me a second to realize that, wow, people are going to break plans, and it may not all work out how I fantasized in my head, or it was like a set thing. Mm-hmm. But then I exhaled such relief because I'm a very emotional being. And there are times where I was like, I just don't have it in the tank. And usually I'd feel very forced to phone it in or show up anyway. And instead I could be like, oh, so I'm not really feeling this right now. I can say that authentically and be accepted authentically. So that's very paradigm shifting, I think, in how the world is going to run, if that's where we're headed, which is thrilling to me personally.
Mm-hmm.
I have 2 questions. as an awakened being and a generator, so instead of putting our eyes on other things that are none of our business, which is the way that we're programmed in the matrix, when we awaken and we realize that we're supposed to be paying attention to ourselves and working on our own authenticity and everything, how does the generator look at itself and still keep going?
I would say that's like a personal. What were you gonna say?
Well, I was hoping I was making sense. Like to me, I feel like a generator comes up with an idea, turns it into a reality, makes plans, gets other people involved, gets it going, turns it into a business or whatever, right? So a lot of things that generators do tend to involve other people eventually.
Mm-hmm.
But when you push that away and you now turn it on yourself, what is it like to be a self-aware generator working on improving oneself? Maybe that sounds better.
Well, I'm not quite sure how to answer that.
Okay.
Because again, I think that would vary from person to person, and there's other aspects in the chart that would come into play with that. Like in profiles, some generators need to be more isolated and not really work with a lot of people. Some are more work with other people.
Yeah.
So that's seen in other places in the chart. So it really depends on the person.
Maybe I was wondering, are there two versions to human design? How you reflect outward and how you reflect inward. So I wonder if that comes. Yeah, it's okay.
I see what you're saying, because there is isn't there the conscious state of human design and the unconscious? So there's the programs that are running beneath, and then how it expresses externally, or something to that effect.
Yes, there is the unconscious and the conscious, and the unconscious has to be mastered before the conscious can be fully expressed. By noticing the unconscious themes in your chart, you can learn what you can kind of pay attention to put your focus on, so then your conscious aspects can be fully expressed in,
Would you call those like triggers?
It could be triggers.
Which when you finally get over yourself and you're like, oh, wait, there is something to that. And then you start looking within. Okay.
Oh, wait.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say that, like triggers, things that you're worried about, or
cycles that you keep repeating.
Yeah, cycles that you keep repeating for sure.
Okay. Like, damn, I didn't know there was going to be a quiz.
I'm curious then, for those who are splenic authority in this shift, what's going to happen?
They're still going to want to operate with their authority, because it's still going to give them that gut response, that gut feeling.
Okay.
So that's still like a good authority to follow. And it might feel like fear, but having that gut response is still a good thing for the splenic authority people to pay attention to.
But I love that it sounds like it may be becoming a bit more sophisticated, in the sense that it won't maybe feel as fight or flight, or in those sort of like baser tones of what the splenic authority would do. Maybe it's now going to have more of like an intellectual nature to it that feels more instinctual.
Yeah, maybe we should just start responding that way. Hold on. Speaking from my gut, I'm going to respond this way. Like maybe that.
Well, that's the thing, is like your body doesn't lie to you. It's like something that it's actually part of, I think, the way that they first discovered lie detector tests, and how that all sort of came to be, is that your body does something no matter what your words are saying. So there's all this subtext that's happening. Like, I'm speaking right now, y'all have no idea what I'm going on. I could be in total panic mode, and I'm trying not to be. And that was actually a lot of my time as in auditioning, etc., is me having to master my body. And so it's pretty interesting to me how your body just the hips don't lie. I know the generator is supposed to listen for that yes, no. I have a hard time with that, but probably because of a lot of the noise in my mind that distracts from really, there's a yes, no happening.
Using and is going to shift that rather than yes, no.
Okay.
It shouldn't be a yes or no for the sacral, for the generators. It should be and it kind of will flow out of your mouth in a way because it's coming from down here, so it's gonna flow out. And it's
that's how mine's gonna flow out.
And are like the keys to turning on the sacral. So we respond best to yes or no questions rather than open-ended questions. That way we can respond with an Oh,
I think
more about that sound, not words.
Okay.
Yeah, that saves the person on the receiving end of getting an answer from an air sign.
I was gonna say, as a Libra, that helps a lot. Yes or no, or like, or or because wow, I get very overwhelmed with too many options. I'm one of those that likes like a petite menu.
Don't give me options, dude. I'll be there for an hour. Like, I don't even know now.
Totally. And then it breaks my scale. I'm like, now my scale's fucked up. It's recalibrated.
Yeah.
And
no idea.
The sacral authority I wanted to also mention, if you have splenic authority, but you're a generator, the splenic and the sacral are almost like the same feeling, almost the same thing. So you want to pay more attention to the sacral if you're a generator, even if your chart may say splenic.
Okay, so where are we literally feeling that? I mean, I know where the sacral chakra is.
Down it's from there.
Down in the magic zone. Okay.
Just like the crystal.
Is that why we said to bring your
Yeah.
Okay, I saw there was like a theme. There was a preliminary theme that was happening.
Well, I did not know. I must have picked up on it. Shout out to the Tucson Gem Show.
Okay, rad. And so I know we've got mainly generators, but can you just briefly shout out to all the human designs in the house?
So there's the manifestor.
Question.
Yes.
Okay. It goes in line with that too. Do the types, human design types, do they work better with their own types, or is it better to have like a mix of people around you? Obviously, like we're all generators here, so it kind of worked out that way. But in life application, is it better to have a mix or just kind of huddle with your type?
Yes, it's so good to have a mix because you have the projectors who kind of guide the generators, and then they're for like putting the ideas out there and helping with the generators for them to follow things. And same with the manifestors. The manifestors need the generators to do the actual work. Projectors need the generators to do the actual work. Whereas like the manifestors are more of like the ideas and get things started, but they're not going to have follow through on like the projects that they start. They're good at really, being the entrepreneur, like let's start a business and go either sell it or have this person run it. Projectors, they don't really have that sacral workforce energy, so they need a passive income, something that, where they won't have to work a traditional 9-to-5 job because they just won't have the energy for it. And the manifestors won't have the energy for it either. But the manifesting generators and generators do. And then, so the calibrators, the reflectors, they're interesting because they have to wait a full moon cycle or multiple moon cycles to make any decisions. They're the rarest of the human design type, and they kind of serve as like the karmic mirror and the barometer for how the rest of the world is doing. They need to be in the right environment with the right people. And if that feels good, then that means that, that community is like doing its job. So it's interesting. We all need each other.
It's almost like in a tribe, the shaman that lives out in the jungle or the woods would reflect back what the whole tribe is feeling and that's interesting.
Yeah. It's like putting on a show. This is how Karen Parker puts it. It's like putting on a show where you have the generators or the people who run the show. They do the work, they set the stage, They do all like the physical labor that's required to be in the show.
That makes sense.
This is my life.
Who's on stage?
Generators.
Also.
Generators, so like the actors, I
Okay,
guess.
of course. That was literally me at Rise of the Guardians. I was like, let me check you in. Let me also serve you lunch. Let me dance on the dance floor for you. Let me clean up afterwards. I was like, let me do it. Actually, manifesting sounds really sexy to me. I just want to be like, here's an idea and then walk away. Just
Mic drop.
it sounds great. It's very Aries too, which actually is my North Node. But it's very Aryan to be like ideas and this and like light everyone up and then like walk away. Other people take care of it.
Yeah, on your own.
Yeah. And I actually think I do know a reflector. And after discovering that, I was like, oh, that's why his energy is so unique. I didn't have words for it. I was like, he's a one and only. And he's a Pisces. And I didn't know if that had something to do with it. But I kept being like, what is it? And then when I looked at his chart, I'm like, holy shit, dude.
I was thinking Tyel is probably a reflector, and that's funny because he's a Pisces too.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. Well, we all have sort of our own unique way that I guess we are working with energy. So then maybe sort of energetic hygiene we need to do. But I've heard that for projectors, they really can be very spongy. So they need to clear their energy quite a bit, even salt baths and things of this nature, right? To sort of expel other people's energy that they get on them.
Yeah, especially the generator energy, that sacral energy. The projectors can seem like they're working harder and have more energy than generators because they're taking in the generator energy from the people around them and amplifying it. So like, it looks like they can work harder, but they can burn themselves out a lot easier. And so projectors really need time to, it's best before they go to bed, they want to lay down for like a half an hour before even trying to sleep. That way they can kind of dispel all that sacral energy because it happens when you're laying flat, and not to sleep around a generator is another important thing. Projectors shouldn't sleep around generators because they'll be picking up that sacral generator energy throughout the night and they'll never have a chance to discharge it and get rid of it.
What's going on in your house, Shauna?
This is like marriage saving material,
right?
Do you know what I'm saying? I'm just like, why doesn't the world know this or talk about this more? Like there are we need to go back to I Love Lucy, even though I think it was fake, but we need to go back to like
Too bad. Oh, 100%.
Oh, you'll see projectors go and like sleep on the couch, like in the middle of the night, like get up and go and like sleep on the couch or sleep somewhere else just to like, that's a common thing with projectors.
Oh,
that's always been me.
These homeless sweethearts, we need to help them. Like they shouldn't have to live this way.
Yeah, my son is he's a Scorpion and also a projector, which is an interesting mix, but and now it's making sense. He has to have a lot of time, like downtime in his room, like without me in there. And a lot of times I thought it was me, but then I started, getting a little bit more into human design. But this is making sense of I'm a generator and sometimes my energy might be too much for him. Like he just needs to go like relax in his room and just not absorb other people's energy. Like he just needs to be in his own field.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
He also needs a lot of rest. Yeah.
Ashley, are you doing this professionally? Can people book you for human design readings?
Yeah.
Okay. Send me your information. We'll put it in this, but I'll put you on my Stan store. So if somebody wants to find you and then,
Right now it's just kind of word of mouth and just my phone number. I got to get my website up and running and I'm having issues with that.
No, I can, whatever you're using, I'll add you in case anybody wants. This way, if somebody wants to book you right away, they can go to my Stan store and click, and then it'll send them to you, and then they can get their chart done because you are offering the way you have perceived what you've learned, and you're offering an enlightened and very expansive version of anything I've heard prior to this. And so I think it would be a huge benefit to anybody that's curious about this to have their chart read by you. because I feel like you wouldn't even waste their time with the basics. You're just going to go right into the next level shit, which, you know.
Yeah. I mean, I want to like help people accelerate whatever they're going through. Like, I want to accelerate the healing process. And yeah, I don't want to waste people's time. I don't want to waste my time. I want people to really live their true authentic selves.
Yeah. Well, and then if they get stuck in their inner child, we send them to Sage and she helps them work it out. If they need a huge, expansive, mind-altering, experience, we'll send them to Amber and get them microdosing and some Reiki, and then you can send them to me, and I'll just make everything explode, and they'll come out of all their. We'll break all those cycles and everything, and I'm a.
Visuals, I'm kidding.
Yeah,
I don't even. It's like a Boston cream donut being like, fucking.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's like got really graphic in here in my mind. I don't know why. I was like,
It's the crystal. It's the vagina crystal that we've all been reading.
I did bring my sexy body organite though.
Oh, all right.
Look how cute this is. Someone made this and gifted us, and this is my divine feminine and hashtag goals because it's like shredded. You could put a little incense and have it burn over your sexy body. I don't know. It's so cute. Anyway, that's my vagina crystal. Till I have one. Reserving for the next one.
We're all going to go on a girly group trip and pick out ours. Because Ashley is leading the way. She already has hers, but we'll get matchies.
Yeah. This is even profound for, in terms of even siblings that are sharing a room, or, I mean, obviously it may not be financially doable, but at least if there's a time then that perhaps this child has access to that bedroom privately for a couple of hours, or just time, for me, I'm such a relationship person, and how we can foster better dynamics to honor each other so that we have symbiosis in relationships. So to me, it's just like, it's such an important thing that we're learning. And I think also in terms of, I know that human design has gone into a business aspect, because you don't want people working against their human design in your company. Doesn't make any sense. You're misusing their energy. They're fried. They're not getting the results you want. And I'm sure it's why we have a lot of these toxic dynamics in business and companies. So I'm looking forward to sort of the 5D version of running a business. So, all of this plays a role in that. And I'm curious now about these reflectors. Is it similar to the projectors that they also need some, I mean, if they're waiting a full moon cycle before they can really feel their own energy, what's going on as far as their own self-care, perhaps?
Yeah, rest is beneficial. Having a passive income, not working a traditional 9-to-5 Monday through Friday job.
Okay. I was signing me up for that shit too. I'm over here like, please say something like very passive income for the generators too.
We have t-shirts to make, Shauna.
That's right. Hey, there we go. I have to be like creating in some way or expressing in some way, or I can feel sort of bottlenecked with my energy, and then I go crazy person. So
generators do need their passion projects. Even if it's not their job, generators need a passion project.
That makes so much sense. I feel like I've spent the last few years knowing that in 4 to 6 months, I have plans to go do the conference or something, right? And so throughout the next few months, anytime I need to hype myself up, I think about that. Like I'm going to, like when we were all headed to Bastrop, we're going to be in Bastrop, and I'll think, and I'll start thinking about maybe I should get this to wear or whatever. And it's just helping me plan for the future. But it was like, it's almost like a passion project, even though it's something that's going to happen the way it should in 6 months, planning for it and turning it into this idea in your head and like visualizing it and seeing it. I feel like that's a really good exercise. But it's also something that I just do naturally. So that sounds like what a generator would do, like prepping it and getting it ready to happen. Does that? I don't know if I could follow what I just said, but did you?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a generator thing. I'm very much the same way. I was using the Rise of the Guardians one for a while, that conference. Had myself up for a while. Yep.
And when I don't have something coming up, I feel very like I'm waiting for something to happen.
Yes.
Right? Do you all
we
go
get
through
frustrated. Frustration is a theme with us. We hit like a plateau in like our learning or whatever it may be. When we hit that plateau, we get frustrated. But that's our time to just like sit, integrate, heal, rejuvenate our energy, and wait for the next surge in energy or the next big thing to come along.
Oh yeah, I've had to learn to trust that in between space.
Yeah.
It's okay that nothing's happening and there's no plan.
And it's okay. I know, Amber, that's why I keep saying, hey, we need to Zoom and talk about me buying tickets to fly out there in February. Because like, that's my next thing in my mind of like what's coming up. Party in Amber's house in February, everyone, by the way.
Hey.
Let's do it. We'll go swim with the whales, swim with the whales, you know.
Let's go swim with the whales.
Well, there is the Bridge Expo now happening in Dallas, Texas in October.
Right.
So if you want to generate over something, first listen to your or but that is a really exciting conference. It's actually going to be completely different than anything we've ever done, except for the fact that there's going to be a lot of fucking fun. Because we just don't know how to not have a good time. And maybe I need to drop in the dance video from the Rise of the Guardians.
That was cool.
The bridge is exciting to me because we're bridging so many things, the old versions of ourselves into the more ascended versions of ourselves. We're bridging between our planet and the galactic brotherhood that is out there. We are bridging between what our desires are and manifestation speeding up. There's so much of this sort of bridge. I think of also like Jacob's ladder energy. Cosmologically, we are so there with the conjunction that's happening in Aries. So we have Neptune and Saturn conjunct in Aries, and this has not happened, I think, since the 1700s. So it's a massive time as far as what Saturn represents. Saturn and Neptune together, what they represent is so powerful. Saturn is the builder. Saturn's the one that gets shit done. It's our literal world. It's the way our entire dynamic is set up in the physical world. And then Neptune is the like juicy spiritual cosmic planet. So these two planets being together in Aries, which is the entire beginning of the zodiac, it's pure potential. It's an entire paradigm shift. We're all stepping into our heroism and our leadership in a whole different way. And it's really supported and based in spiritual energy and spiritual dynamics, which falls so perfectly in line with the 2027 evolution of what we're talking about with human design as well. So that's kind of what the bridge is about, but also in a very like fun and playful way, because I think we're all ready to get together and teamwork and share these ideas and start laying the foundation instead of just talking about it. I, for one, am like, it's fun to get together and share ideas, but I'm ready to like hard hats and lay cement. I know that's my generator. I'm like, I'm ready to do shit, but for real, like I'm so ready for that. So that's what, if anyone's generating over that, that's what the Bridge Expo is about.
October 17th and 18th?
17th, 18th, and 19th. Yeah.
All right. Go to teamlightstore.com to buy your tickets.
Ashley, thank you so much for coming on and sharing about human design. And I'm thrilled that you're going to be at this event coming up in Sedona. So where do people get tickets for that?
Sedona5d.com.
Until next time, y'all. It's so great to be with all of you.
You too.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Together again soon.
Yes. And we'll pick this up very soon. Also, I know in the way that I know that we have another Enlighten Up Media video coming. We have a collaboration coming. We have a follow up to our calling out to the Galactic Federation video coming. I can feel it.
I like the cliffhanger that you're leaving the peeps with.
It's happening. It's time. It's time for a reunion. Okay. Bye everyone.
All right. Ciao. Much love.